Okay, good morning, everyone. Confirm you can hear me.
Clear, Tony. We can.
All right. Great. I see very interesting names that are joining. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, maybe you just do type a Y in the chat box. So I'm sure audible. Can I get a Y in the chat box? Okay. All right. Nice. All right. So how are we doing? It's been a while. I think our last knowledge sharing session was sometime in July. We typically try to have these sessions monthly, but again, 9 to 5 exigencies deter us. But not to worry, we'll try to do better. My name is Tony, and I'll be your anchor for today's session. We over the next 1 hour, we're going to be having an exciting conversation on artificial intelligence as we know it. AI has been around for a while, right? More than 50 years, actually. But in the last year or thereabout, it has gained significant traction and has got everybody talking, you know. The survey we put out, yeah, there are a few people who claim not to have interacted with AI, but truth be told, if you have a smartphone, it's very unlikely that you've not interacted with AI. And you see from your Google map to your facial recognition, the use cases, right? They continue to increase across multiple industries, from healthcare, finance, service industry, manufacturing, just name it. I watched Sky about 3 weeks ago, and the use case this time was in healthcare. A paralyzed guy who had lost capacity for speech, right? They had these devices connected to his brains, and his thoughts were being translated through an avatar. So you can know what the paralyzed guy is thinking, you know what he feels, you know what he wants. Now, imagine this level of insight, it goes a long way towards improving healthcare. From a personal effectiveness standpoint, ChatGPT has been a big deal in the last couple of months, and has contributed towards enhancing or transforming our personal effectiveness in the workplace, especially for those of us who have used it, right? I'm hoping that there's none of us here who doesn't have a ChatGPT account, but if there is, you should be opening one as we speak. While I'm not marketing for them, right? But by the time you start interacting with this tool, you should thank me later. But again, as transformative as AI could be, there are significant risks to its use. So with other tech that we have engaged in the past, some of these risks are basically human related. So now you have malicious actors who can use generative AI to spread misinformation. You have people who are creating deepfakes. You are using AI to aid identity theft. You have data privacy concerns. You have ethical concerns. I think it was Steve Hawkins, he's late now, who warned that the development of full artificial intelligence, because we're not yet there yet, right? That the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. Is it exaggerated? Does he know what he's talking about? Again, well, time will tell. So today you hear folks who are calling for regulation of AI, right? As a way of managing its risk. That, look, we can't just allow people to just do stuff. Now, while those against regulation are saying that, well, regulating AI is likely going to stifle innovation and blah, 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 blah. Again, it's just important, right? It's important that we are able to confront the risks and ethical considerations to AI, such that we can really we can ensure that AI serves as a beacon of progress, right? Rather than something that spells doom. So I'll just get out of your way. Our speaker this morning is Femi Madariola. He's a partner with PwC, and he's a very good friend of mine. He leads the digital innovation team there, where he leverages emerging technologies like AI to help organizations achieve their business objectives. Femi is a CISA. He's also a graduate from Stanford University of Business. So as usual, I dare say that we are in good hands. Femi will, over the next 40 minutes, talk us through, and then we'll take questions. And then I'll wrap up with the session with a few AI tools we can leverage to drive personal effectiveness in the workplace as tech practitioners. Femi.
Tony, thank you very, very much for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. With the introduction you've done, I think I really think I don't need to present anything again. Like it almost feels like you've done all of my work already, right? And Tony, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Thanks for inviting me. I really, really appreciate it. So please just give me a second to share my screen. Right. Great. And please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, it's up.
Great. As Tony has said, my name is Femi Madariola. I'm a partner in PwC. I focus on digital innovation using technology, right? Emerging tech or any type of tech to solve the problems that my clients, right, or the society might be facing at large. And why this topic is extremely important to me, right? So I'll clearly state this, right? I am not an AI expert in any way. What I am is a solution provider. So if it's AI, right, that I can use, right, in developing a solution or providing a solution to a client's objective, automatically I'm in for it. So that's the mindset I want us to have. And I really love this topic because as of yesterday evening, right, my team and I, we were having like a product meeting late at night as we were preparing this slide. So we are doing both at the same time, right? And we are discussing, right, how do we bring in artificial intelligence to help our clients' lives easier? Our clients we were speaking to right now were auditors. They were saying, can you leverage artificial intelligence, right, to help me identify the samples that I am meant to test, right? And yesterday night, and this was probably like 11 p.m., and we left this slide and we started drawing on the board to say, oh, what is it that we can use? What is there a recommendation system that we can use out there? Is there a clustering algorithm that we can use out there to solve that problem? And what that just speaks to, right, is the importance of artificial intelligence, right, in the everyday lives and in the business life that we live, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this session this morning. Running through this session, I'll just speak to 4 things. Tony said he has given me all of the time in this life. I said I can take as much as 4 hours for this presentation this morning. So I'll do an introduction, spend around 1 hour. Opportunities in AI, I spend maybe 2 hours. Risks in AI, I spend 30 minutes, then I conclude in 30 minutes. So basically, right, we're going to do this session in 4 hours, around 4 hours. Right. However, if we do it in less than that, then please, Tony, can you just share my email address so when people have issues, right, they can send them to me.
We'll leave you here.
In less than 4 hours.
We'll leave you here.
Okay, so just running through, I just said, let me start this session, right? It will be apt to start a session like this on artificial intelligence, right, with a use case that shows the good of artificial intelligence and maybe the not so good. So please, I have a video that I'll play that I'll share right now. Please, can you confirm?
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
And we're gonna do one more.
Oh, yeah. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get on the floor. Open the door.
Rock Voice command. Error.
Hey there, with a rock? Open door. Open door. Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
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 Okay, thank you very, very much. I hope we all saw artificial intelligence in action there, right? What I would say, right, artificial intelligence is everywhere now, right? If you think about it, it's every single way. As Tony has mentioned, it's on your devices, right? I'm very sure a lot of you got when you registered for this meeting, right? What had happened was Zoom sent you a link. You may not have put this in your calendar, right? But what did you notice? You will have noticed that an event had been created in your calendar. That was Google Mail, or that was Gmail. Sorry, that was your mail provider, right? Going through your mail, leveraging artificial intelligence, right, to do a task that you should have performed as a human being, right? Your Google searches, almost every single thing that we do right now, right, that leverages technology has a bit of artificial intelligence at the back. So just doing an introduction, right, into what artificial intelligence is. In the simplest of terms, I'll tell you artificial intelligence is the new electricity. And why are we comparing artificial intelligence to electricity? Is because you cannot say, right, what is the general purpose of artificial intelligence? If I come in to ask you what is the purpose of electricity, right, I doubt if you'll be able to, what you'll be thinking about, right, are the transformative use cases, what electricity has done. We can have this meeting, right, me seated in this room and everybody sitting across your various locations, right, because there's electricity in place, right? If there's no electricity, that will never have happened. So what artificial intelligence is right now is that the same role that electricity played in transforming a lot of things around the way we live. There's light everywhere, there are ACs, life is here with electricity. That's the same role artificial intelligence is going to play in the new world that we live in, right? And from a business standpoint, right, I don't know the background of everybody, right? I know at the end of the day, we business people like looking at things, right, in Naira and Kobo in dollars, right? According to PwC in 2017, right, we had estimated that by the year 2030, right, if $15.7 billion, right, will have been added to the global economy through the use of artificial intelligence as of now. If you think about it, as of now, the GDP of China is somewhere around $18 trillion, right? And that of America is around like $27 trillion. What we are saying is because of artificial intelligence alone, right, we're probably going to have another economy as big as China. And we all know how big the economy of China is, right? So that's the mindset I want us to have, that artificial intelligence is here to stay, is transforming the way businesses run, transforming the way we live our lives, right? And transforming the way we actually do our work personally, or the way we interact with each other, right? Moving on very quickly, unfortunately, right, if you look at this slide, right, you will clearly see that when this trillions of dollars, right, is happening, right, the impact, right, or the growth in Africa is very, 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 very small, right? And that's one of the mindsets, or that's one of the things that we are expecting our startups, right, to come in and say, how can we tap into this? How can we get a lot more of this share? Because basically, just looking at this, right, you can see we are just targeting, or what might trickle down to Africa is less than $1 trillion, right? Going quickly to say what is artificial intelligence, right? Basically, what people say, right, if you look at the definition of what artificial intelligence is, you'll be looking at things like saying it's the ability of machines to actually do tasks or activities that require human intelligence, right? But however, a simplistic view, right, or a simpler view of what AI is you say AI is a bunch of tools and techniques, right? Tools and techniques that are used in actually performing human-like activities. Simple. Because why? AI in itself is not just a big box. It's not just one item, right? Typically, in an artificial intelligence-driven system, it's a combination of little things or smaller programs, right, that actually perform activities that require human intelligence. So basically, it's a set of tools and techniques, right? And there are different types. However, there are a number of myths, right, when it comes to artificial intelligence that people have, what they call it, people always say, right? So basically, the first one is everybody says, oh, artificial intelligence is just one big thing. No, there are different things under artificial intelligence. There are different studies. There are different sub-domains under artificial intelligence. That's one. Another myth, another thing we need to know, right, is artificial intelligence is general purpose. I hope I mentioned that when I was introducing it in the beginning. Say the same way electricity is to say it's an enabler, right? It enables human beings to actually do more than they can do with machines, with the power of machines, right? So that's what artificial intelligence is. Also, is one of the things it is. It's an enabler at the core of it, right? Basically, another myth, right, is that once I get one artificial intelligence model, or once I get one algorithm, it can solve all the problems of the world. It's a lie, right? Anybody that tells you that, right, is telling you BS. Sorry, mind my friend, it's a lie. Because basically what happens is artificial intelligence solutions are typically customized, right, or tailored to solve a specific problem at hand. If you think about what Tony mentioned, the example he gave us, right, he gave us of a physically challenged person, right, that you had connected his brain to some form of artificial intelligence solution, right, that can interpret every single thing he's thinking about. If I take that same solution to solve fraud, right, or crime, right, it will not work. If I use that same solution to direct me from here to Apapa, most likely I'm going to end up in Atlantic Ocean. Most likely. If I cannot swim, then that's the end. So basically, please, we need to understand that anybody telling you that, oh, one model solves all problems in this life, or one solution, one AI solution solves all the problems in this world, it is not true. That is a myth, right? Different problems require different types of artificial intelligence techniques and solutions, right? Please, that is another fact that we need to take away from here. The third one, right, is that ML, once you just put in the data, ML just understands everything by itself. That is also not true, right? When it comes to ML, what happens is that there is a lot of human intervention, right, in ensuring that the data you have put in makes sense, interpreting it, and once in a while, right, ensuring you are putting appropriate level of bias in the data. So think about this, an area that we've worked in, right, as a team in PwC is helping financial institutions work on fraud management solutions, right, developing fraud management solution that we sold to a number of banks, right? If you think about it, the amount of fraud that actually occurs in the bucket of transactions, right, that take place in the bank is probably less than maybe 0.1%, right, or 0.0001%. Imagine you building a model just off all of the data in the bank, and you're trying to see that the model should be able to predict if a transaction is fraudulent or not. Most likely, right, the results you would get, right, will be results that you do not like. Because why? There's a skew in the amount of data involved. I don't want to go into any technical, but I'm just saying, in developing machine learning algorithms, there are a number of tasks that human beings need to do. Another one that we've seen recently is there's a company somewhere in Ibadan, right, that what they are doing is they are labeling data in Nigeria or in Africa. So one of the first stages, right, of a lot of machine learning algorithms or machine learning techniques, there are different types of techniques. One of them is called supervised learning. Supervised learning is just, in simple terms, labeling based on historical information that has been labeled. So anywhere somebody says supervised learning, what you can just think about in simplest terms is, how can I label a new information, right, or label a new item, right, based on historical information that have been labeled in the past. So as I said, this company in Ibadan, right, somewhere in Ibadan, what they are doing right now is they're taking a lot of real life information that we have in Nigeria, right, and labeling it. What that will do, right, is that very soon, somebody that wants to build algorithms or artificial intelligence solutions, right, that relates to information that we have in Nigeria, we need to go and look for those guys. Because why? What they are doing is that they are labeling ahead of time. As I said, there's a lot of labeling, there's a lot of data acquisition, there's a lot of cleansing that needs to go on, right? And there's a lot of training and guidance and guiding the algorithm. So basically, you cannot just throw in all the data you have in this life, right, and push it into a model, right? And what you get out of it is information that is accurate. So these are some myths, right? And about artificial intelligence that I'm here to help you bust, right? Because basically what we are doing is we are just trying to have a conversation in simple terms or in layman's terms on what artificial intelligence is, what's the hype, what's the fad, right? And how can we leverage it? Moving on very quickly, right? There are different types of artificial intelligence. Remember what I said was artificial intelligence is just the different tools and techniques that are used in mimicking what human beings can actually do. The most popular one in the world as of now is supervised learning. The most popular one as of now is supervised learning. That is the one that is used in almost everything that we do, right? And what's supervised learning? Supervised learning is just a system or an algorithm, right, that have been trained to actually take in data that had been labeled in the past, right? And saying, when I get a new set of data, can I actually match it, right, based on what I have learned in the past? Simple thing. So I fed a model, right, images of cups, right, or different images. Some of them are cups, some of them are spoons, some of them are knives, and I've labeled all of them appropriately, right? If I send in a new image of an item, right, the supervised learning algorithm says, based on what I have learned in the past, what is this? That's supervised learning. The main thing in supervised learning is that data has been labeled, right? One interesting use case I just found out about during this research for this slide, during this presentation, right, was a pizza company in the world, right, that was saying, how can I leverage supervised learning models, right, to find out if the cheese that has been applied on the pizza that has been sold to our customers, right, or the client, is uniform. Think about this. So what they are saying is, when you get that your box of pizza, the round one, as the cheese been applied evenly, what they are doing is they are using a supervised learning algorithm to actually solve this problem. When you think about you saying, I get into an Uber, right? I'm about to request for an Uber, right? And I say, this is where I'm going. And it gives me an approximate or an estimated fee. That's also a supervised learning algorithm. Because what that algorithm has said is, based on past historical trips that have been taken along that route, based on the distance, based on the amount of traffic, based on the fuel consumption, and based on maybe some error estimates that have been included, how much will your fee come to? That's what a supervised learning algorithm does for you. The new buzzword, right, that everybody's going on and on and on and on about is generative AI, right? Generative AI is a new form of artificial intelligence that creates different types of content or generates new content based on prompts or based on information that has been fed in. So e.g., I can come into a generative AI algorithm, right, and say, I want to, right? And if I say prompt, if I do run, most likely, based on the data sets that have been fed into it, if the data set that has been fed into it has been a lot about young kids, and young kids, one of the responses? One of the responses I might get is, I want to play, right? If I'm fine with that response and I click on prompt again, it might be, I want to play with, right? If I click on prompt again, it might be, I want to play with my, right? So underneath it, so generative AI is a type of AI algorithm that can generate different types of original content based on a large amount of information that it has been trained with. A very popular one that I'm sure a lot of people know, right, that Tony mentioned, right, is ChatGPT. So one of the experiments we did, right, in coming up with this slide was to say, I have a presentation. My presentation is to IT experts, IT people, and IT security related people. What should my outline of my presentation be? ChatGPT gave us this outline. So that saved the team and I a few hours or a few minutes and say, what should we talk about today, right? And the thing was, the first outline he gave us, we were like, nah, this outline is too basic. When we ran it again, he gave us this new outline, right? So what happens is ChatGPT says, based on the generative AI says, based on the information that I've been given, can I predict what the next set of information will be, and it keeps on iterating and iterating and iterating it. So in simple terms, that's what generative AI is all about. So in the world of artificial intelligence, right, these two, right, are the most ones that are gaining a lot of traction as of now. There are other types. There's unsupervised learning. That is, we just saying we take in data, right, that we've claimed, that we've gathered, we push it into an algorithm, and based on that, the machine learning, the algorithms help us, artificial intelligence helps us identify an output, right? Unsupervised. We have not labeled any information. So we have not said these are cops. We have not said these are we have not said these are cops. We have not said these are animals. We have not said this is fed, right? So based on that, the machine learning algorithm knows. So a perfect example, right? If you think about whatever photo album you have on your phone, right? So basically you come and you take pictures of yourself and your family members, right? Yourself and your friends, right? What happens at the back? You find out that there's an algorithm that says, oh, this is you, right? And helps you put all of your pictures that you are in one place. If you notice, right, if you take a picture, if there are other people in your picture, it can help you come in to classify them, right? Basically, what has happened is nobody has come in to say this is what you or this is you, right? Or these are your friends. What the machine learning algorithm or what the artificial intelligence has done is to say, getting all the pictures that you have, right, without any form of labeling, helping you to do some form of clustering. That's unsupervised learning, right? And another one that is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is just basically saying it's some form of unsupervised learning. However, there is a feedback loop. So basically, so we have a model that is meant to do stuff. So if you have a model to identify maybe animals, right? Every single time I identify an animal correctly, I give it a positive feedback. Every single time it identifies an animal wrongly, what I do is I send a negative feedback. If you think about in our schooling or maybe our education days, that thing that used to be called negative marking, right? So basically, thinking about it in that manner, right? That's what reinforcement learning is all about. To say, okay, I have an ensemble of models that I have a feedback loop to that automatically helps me when there's a positive identification or a negative identification, it marks it as either positive or negative. However, in the world of today, as I've said, the major form of algorithms or artificial intelligence models are actually supervised learning. 90% of what you have out there, 99% of what you have out there is supervised learning, right? And that's the biggest one. That one will continue to grow. The next one, right, is generative AI. Supervised learning. So these are some basic examples of how supervised learning is. If you think about your emails, right, your email comes in as an input. Automatically, models at the back can say, based on emails that have come from this type of sender, based on the type of title of the email, based on the content of the email. In the past, we have typically labeled this as spam, and automatically it comes in as spam. One of the greatest use cases, right, of artificial intelligence in the world right now, most use cases that bring in the most revenue is actually for advertisement. In selling us, let's just know it. Whenever you get on WhatsApp, whenever you get on Instagram, whenever you get on TikTok, most of the time, whenever you get on social media, right, and you're wondering, who is the product here? Let's know this and know peace. We, the users, right, of social media are actually the products that are being sold. We, the people, are the products. So in the world of artificial intelligence, as of now, right, one of the greatest use cases or what generates the most revenue is actually advertisement. And what are they saying? What are they trying to predict? Is that if I show Tony an advert, right, what is the probability that he'll click on it? That is all. That use case, right, is the biggest use case for artificial intelligence in the world from a revenue perspective as of now. There are other use cases, autonomous driving and all of that. But however, in the world as of now, the greatest use case, right, for artificial intelligence is actually in terms of advertisement. When they are selling us, when the big tech companies in the world are selling our information or packaging us as products to companies that want to sell their products to us. Unsupervised learning, basically, I've explained this already. Let me see. There's one I need to just generative AI, not this slide I'm showing you. I thought I had a slide on that, but generative AI at the fundamental base of it, right? At the fundamental base, right, is also leveraging a lot of supervised learning. It might shock people, right? But generative AI at the base of it is also some form of supervised learning. And let me explain that. Remember the example I had said of, imagine I had gone to a generative AI solution, e.g. like a chat GPT, right? Imagine doing the training of chat GPT. What had been fed in is just information or the speech that little children actually make, what little kids say. If I sent a prompt to say, I want to, right? What the generative or what the chat GPT or the algorithm at the back would be doing is to say, based on this input of I want to, right? What is the next word, right? That goes with I want to? What's the next word that people typically use with I want to? What will happen is, because they are little kids, right? You might see stuff like I want to play, I want to eat, I want to go and report you to mommy, I want to go and tell daddy, right? You'll find out that that is how it works. So I'm just trying to simplify it as much as possible. There are other things like e.g. using tokens, e.g. saying, let me take that sentence as a whole as it is, right? And also try to see if there are other areas where what is the next word after that sentence as a whole, or what's the next word after that last word alone. So basically, but the fundamental at the base of it all, right? When people say generative AI, right? If you understand the fundamentals of supervised learning, right? What you would be able to do is you'll be able to think about how generative AI works. Hope that is clear. So basically, I just wanted to throw that in, right? There are extremely different, there are many use cases, right, of AI in the world that we live in. I don't need to speak to the one on healthcare. Austin has mentioned one already. But if you speak to the one on transportation, there's traffic management, there's route management. All of us, number of us get into Uber today, right? If we don't use Uber today, I'm just using, so if we don't use our ride-hailing services, right? As of today, at least we'll be using one of the maps, whether it's Google Maps or whether it's what do you call it, Azure Maps, right? To say I want to get from A to B. Basically, in transportation, that is a major use case. Another use case that we also noticed recently was to say stuff like, what is the most efficient way for ships to pass or for airlines to fly? Their most efficient routes that save fuel and based on the current weather, right? Another one in agric that we would also see is that some interesting ones to say, if I take a picture of a plant, right? How do I know this plant is healthy? How do I know if the plant is ready for harvest, right? I know in the past, our great grandfathers, right, could just look at a cocoa pod, right, to say, this cocoa pod is ripe. But how many cocoa pods does they want to look at? That's why they could not scale, right? Artificial intelligence has come and say, oh, just looking at it, what's the right height at which we should harvest the plant, harvest wheat, right? E-commerce, every single time we go into our Jumias, our Kongas, Amazons of this world, right? We are getting items that feel like, oh, were they reading my mind, right? How do they know? How do they know that I might be in need of Pampers now? How do they know I might be in need of mosquito nets right now? How do they know that what I'm researching is about this? Basically, that's just all artificial intelligence. The recommendations engine that have been built at the back. And what is that? What does it leverage? It leverages a lot of what you do on social media. It leverages a lot of what you search for. In finance, you notice in lending, right? In lending, it has also come in. However, you still use rules, right? But in finance, you notice things like in lending for fraud management. Also in gaming, think about your games. For people that play games, imagine somebody building a soccer game as of now, right? You cannot use if then else, just rules, right? To build a soccer game all from scratch. Because what if the person you're playing against goes left? Will you have taken into consideration all of the possible scenarios? So in that case, artificial intelligence also comes in to make life easy, right, for people that build games and all of build games. And speaking, because basically this presentation, right, is not just, as I said, I just wanted to just give you an overview of what artificial intelligence is and the current use cases. I know what is really important, right, and the opportunities that artificial intelligence creates in the world that we live in as of today. What I would say right now is that the world we live in is changing, right? And so in PwC, right, I don't even know, yes, I don't want to mention a lot of PwC, but in PwC, we had done a research a number of years ago to say what are the things that are actually affecting, what are the mega trends that are affecting the world we live in now, then, and will continue to affect in the nearest future, right? We came up with a framework called ADAPT, right? And what we had said was there are a number of things that are affecting. Number one is asymmetry. Number two is disruption. Number three, age. So the last, there's polarization, and there's a breakdown in trust in society. Asymmetry is saying the difference or the gap between the rich and the poor, right? It's continuing to increase every single time, right? The most important one that relates to this topic of discussion to the actual is disruption. As long as business models keep on getting disrupted, right? As long as the way we live our lives keep getting disrupted by technology, right? As long as the cost of processing information gets cheaper every single time. I know probably some of us will have heard of something called Moore's Law that says is the layman's term, right? Is that the cost of processing, right, information or processing information will keep on getting cheaper, and the size of the machines or the device or the processor that use in processing that information will keep on reducing. As that disruption keeps happening, right? There are a lot of opportunities that will be created, right, in the space, in the world that we live in today. So what we are done, or what we are thought about to say, let's have this conversation around the IT industry, right, for IT professionals, because the feedback, right, in planning for this was a lot of us on this call, right, are professionals in IT space, whether as risk people, as security people, as IT managers, as IT governance people, right, in daily operations, right? So I'll speak to a few of them. The first one, right, is in software development, application development. I like that because at the end, that's my front, that's my base, right? Software development, the way we build our software exchanging right now, you can actually leverage artificial intelligence. There are what do you call it? There are tools that are out there that you can go in and type clearly, I want to build a software that does this, or write me a function that can look through ABC. Write me a class that can do this and do that. What has happened is that it has actually changed or drastically reduced the amount of time, right, that software developers need to actually create any application. That's one. Number two is that you'll find out that with artificial intelligence, right, I can actually leverage that to build applications quick, what do you call it, that can do a lot more. So e.g., if I wanted to build a system, right, that helps me know whether the feedback I have gotten on this training was good or bad. In the past, I'll have needed to do what? Say I'm going to go and get data, I'm going to go and write if then else, if statement as great work, if statement as good, if statement as bravo, if statement as you are the boss, right? That's good. If statement as waste of time, nonsense, I could have slept, terrible, right? Think about the amount of if then else I'll have needed to write. Think about amount of amount of time that I will have needed, right, to either get this data, clean it, and label them, right? With artificial intelligence now, to build a sentiment analysis, a system that does sentiment analysis, which is the domain of what I just described. You can actually get all of that done in less than 1 hour. Because why? There are algorithms, right? There are open algorithms out there that have been created, right, for sentiment analysis. If you get in Python, there are so many libraries in Python that can help you do that. Microsoft is not even they're not lagging behind. There's something called ML.net that you can also use for sentiment analysis. So e.g., as a software developer, you can leverage artificial intelligence in actually reducing the amount of time, right? Or even in building the applications. And you can also use AI to actually expand your use cases. A lot of what we do in IT, right? A lot of what we do is actually ensuring that we keep the lights on. We ensure that our infrastructure is working right. We ensure that we have the right amount of capacity, right? Artificial intelligence, you can leverage that Because it can help you in maintenance, can help you in network optimization. Say, oh, there's a problem. I've seen a spike in network. Should I automatically scale up? Immediately the spike reduces. Like scale down. Automatically, you can use that in your log analysis also to notice, oh, we've noticed that there's an anomaly in the amount of requests that are coming from a particular router or from a particular, or that is going to a particular service or a server, right? You can use artificial intelligence for all of that. So as IT professionals, right? As core IT professionals, there's a number of things, or there are a number of things that we can use artificial intelligence for, and that we should be taking advantage of. You know, the last one that I'll speak to is support, right? Think about you needing to classify requests that people requests that your users are actually making, or complaints that they are making about their IT applications that are being managed, right? Automatically, you can also use, right, artificial intelligence to help you route help desk tickets, so that you don't need somebody, or you don't need to start writing if the application name is maybe is Cisco Veracity. If the application name is Oracle, send it to Tony. The application name is Flex Cube, send it to Aminu. No, you can actually use artificial intelligence to do all of that, right? So because in this discussion, right, we had also said that IT security professionals will also be on the call. It is almost humanly impossible, right, to leverage the power of human beings alone to protect us, right, from the power of hackers. Remember what I said was, or the risk that we face due to cybersecurity. Remember I had said people right now are using artificial intelligence to build applications, right? So basically, imagine people that use artificial intelligence to build brute force attacking application. How do you want to compete using human power? You cannot do that. So in the IT security space, right, there are a number, right, of areas or domains that what they call it, artificial intelligence can be used in. The most popular one that everybody should know, right, is phishing detection. In organizations that we work with, right, when we get certain types of mail, you find out that your what do you call it, your mail engines have classified them for you, right? What is working at the back end, right? Yes, a bit of rules. I'm not going to lie. The fundamentals of defense most of the time, right? First and foremost are rules, right? The next step will now be leveraging the power of machine, or leveraging the power of artificial intelligence. Phishing detection algorithms can help with that. Network security, right? Even user authentication. These are things that at the back of it, or you can put in artificial intelligence algorithms, right? AI-driven algorithms, that what they are doing is that they are learning patterns. They are discovering what they call it, anomalies. They are saying, oh, if based on the risk, based on this person that is trying to log in now, this is the risk score, right, that we have given that person. Then we can now come in to say, oh, can this person do a 2FA? So basically, right, right, there's adaptive authentication to say, oh, if this person is logging in based on the risk score, what more can I ask of him, right? Those are some other areas I'm trying to rush through. Password protection also. Artificial intelligence algorithm, AI algorithms can also look at password patterns to say, based on this type of patterns, based on the ones that have been hacked or broken in the past, right? Is your password this strong enough? So these are some of the things. These are the use cases. So this is just a workflow of AI in cybersecurity. I'll share the slides with Tony after the presentation. So if Tony, if it's useful, the team can be shared with the team. However, as human beings, as professionals ourselves, right, artificial intelligence is something that we should also be leveraging very, 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 very much. Think about your admin tasks, right? So basically, think of you as you're saying you're scheduling meetings. You know, if you type a mail to somebody, right, and you put in there, I want to have a meeting by your, what they call it, your email engines, your email algorithms, right, can actually help in scheduling those meetings, right? You don't need to start saying, oh, you need somebody to start creating the meeting invites for you, right? Another one is their basic decision making, right? That AI algorithm can also help you undo. Another popular one is in writing, right? There's a good side, there's a bad side to it. a lot of reports that young guys have started writing, right, have been totally done by ChatGPT, right? So somebody can go in there, you can get a content creation engine, right, that can come in and can go in there and help you write a whole report. You can do that from scratch. You can use AI to ensure that your reports, your grammar, your syntax, your context also make a lot of sense. Those are things that we should be leveraging, right? For things around research also, there are algorithms that are out there that you can use. I know Tony has said after my session is going to share a list of tools. He has a list of tools, so I'm not going to mention tools, but these are common areas, right, where you can leverage artificial intelligence for effectiveness. Basically, we should all plan to be lazy people. I mean, good lazy people, meaning you should not suffer more than once. If you are doing a laborious task, right, you shouldn't do it more than once. Once you do it the first time, the second time, you should also be thinking, is there a way I can leverage technology to make my life easier? So as you are doing it in your organization, you should also be doing it for yourselves. Running very, very quickly, right? We've said a lot of good things about how AI is transforming the world that we live in. But we also know, right, that to most good things, there's also a downside. Most upside, there's also a downside. There are a number of risks that that are inherent, right, in the use of artificial intelligence. So as I said initially, when we were working on this presentation as a team, right, what we had done was to say, let's get an outline using ChatGPT, right? When we get that outline, we took that same outline into a PowerPoint generating AI algorithm and say, can you help us create content, right? It created a few contents, but they were decent, but there were a few errors or there were a few simplistic things that were in there, and that was based on information that I've been fed in. So please, when we are leveraging AI, right, there are a number of things we need to consider, right? Number one is risk of error, which is based on the information you feed in. So basically, any artificial intelligence algorithm is, as we say, garbage in, garbage out. The data you feed in is nonsense. What you're going to get, the output you're also going to get is nonsense. Another one is risk of bias. Risk of bias, what you are just talking about basically is to say, the information we are fed in, right, is it biased towards an agenda or towards a certain hypothesis? So on this screen, right, there was something that the justice system in America was trying to do, right? So they were trying to predict, is on the screen, right? They were trying to predict the probability of reoffending, right, of criminals. And what happened was they fed a lot of information in it. And what happened, and the results showed that black people were labeled quite high, right, to what they call a reoffend. But that information, the challenge with that is, if you put that information out there, then everybody will scream that, oh, Black Lives Matter, you cannot say this about Black. So that's bias, right? And that's because of the information that was fed in. We're not saying it's not that Black people don't reoffend. We're not saying that. But what if there's a possibility that is based on the information that was fed in that led to that that led to that result? Another last one that I was just speaking to, right, is that people have said AI is typically a black box. The lack of explainability of AI. Right? So basically, you're saying I feed input A into an algorithm, it gives me an output. What's the rationale behind it? At times, you might not be able to explain. Another thing you need to consider, right, is cybersecurity risk. If you have systems that are leveraging a lot of artificial intelligence, right? What if that system over there has been attacked or has been hijacked, right? There's a major risk in that. Another one is privacy. I know if you have noticed, there was a time that there was one AI application that said, one AI application that was proposing then that if you feed in your pictures, right, it can let you know what you would look like as an old person, right, or when you grow old and when you become evergreen. That's you're feeding your pictures of yourself. That's a privacy risk, right? So when you're thinking about artificial intelligence, because it leverages a lot of information, a lot of data, then we now need to start thinking about the data that is collected. How is it being used? How is it stored? All those data privacy risks, right? That data privacy professionals worry about, right? We need to start thinking about that. Another risk, right? Based on the example that Tony has given, right, is the risk of AI going rogue. Imagine we have one among us AI system now that's controlling all of the weapon systems of the world. What happens if the AI system goes rogue or it thinks it's better than us and decides, oh, this human beings are a problem to our planet? They keep on polluting the planet, they keep on degrading the planet. Why don't we just take all of them out? We just want nuclear weapon and the world can regenerate, right? So there is a risk, right, of artificial intelligence going rogue, and that's something that needs to be. You need to ensure that there are controls over it. If you notice, Sam, what's that guy named, the founder of OpenAI, right? When you see him going for every meeting, you will notice every single way he goes, right? There's a school bag he's always carrying about. The legend is that in that school bag, there's a kill safe, right? For the for the algorithm behind OpenAI, right? Because so that in case OpenAI goes rogue, it can kill it from his laptop. So basically, that's one fear that people also have. And there are ethical risks, there are economic risks, there are societal risks. Societal risks, I think a major societal risk that is not on this slide is so is AI going to take our job, right? That's one that a lot of people, okay, so it's in here already, economic. So that's one risk that a lot of people worry about. But basically, one if you don't take anything away from this presentation, remember what we had said was one of the myths is that AI can be run alone without human intervention. That is not true. AI cannot take away all the jobs. Even before AI takes away jobs, right, you will still need experts in the domain. So one of the things we need to do, right, to protect ourselves is to be experts in our domains, right? Because one of the first stages, right, of using artificial intelligence is being able to label information or being able to guide artificial intelligence algorithms to do what they are meant to do, right? And lastly, just coming to my conclusion, right? For me, right, there are 4 things that I want all of us to take away. There are tools that are out there that you need to know about. You need to understand capabilities of those tools. You need to understand capability of artificial intelligence and what it can do for you. Understand the limitations also. And we need to go on to think about them and use them, right? Because we should be advocates of all these things. We should be able to use them for ourselves in the organizations we work with, right? And also be able to advocate that these things are being used and understand the risks behind them. So basically my closing, right, is to ensure we get updated, we know we are aware, we think about it and continue to use artificial intelligence to make our lives at work and our lives at home easier. Thank you very much. Hope I did it in less than 4 hours. Hope I did it in less than 4 hours.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
I was afraid.
Quickly, I don't know if we have any questions before I share my screen and wrap this all up. Any questions for Femi?
No question in the chat room.
No questions in the chat, no hands raised. Okay, that's nice. Okay. Just quickly share.
Okay, are you sharing, Tony? Or actually?
Yes, let me.
Okay.
Let me.
Okay. That's right.
I want us to be out at. Hold on a sec. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
I want us to be out of here by 1 hour. So just in case we have any questions, please put it in the chat box, or I'm hoping I should be out of here in no time. Okay, so there are a couple of tools, right, that I have been checking out. A number of them I use at the moment, right? There are about 10 or between 10 and 14 of them that I'll just quickly run through. Again, thank you very much, Femi, for the insights you provided. In fact, there are a couple of things that just went up in my head as you were talking. I already started thinking of certain areas in my job where we could leverage AI to deal with or solve those business problems based on some of the use cases that you have shared. Another major takeaway from your presentation was this. You talked about speed, right? Especially from a personal effectiveness standpoint. And that's the basis for sharing some of these tools that we're talking about. Landingsite.ai is a tool that helps you build websites, right? So you can just try your hands on it, feed the solution with the information, and it gives you a prototype of your web design. Now, imagine how long it was supposed to take you if you had to get a developer to start building a website for you, right? So you want to check that out. Kick resume. I still see people who reach out to me to say, "Oh, sir, please, can you help me out with my resume?" There are tons of solutions on the internet that can just help you do this in split seconds. There are different formats, right? Kick resume is one of them. You want to check that out as well. Grammarly, a fantastic tool. I'll say if you're someone who writes reports, this can literally make you a star, right? Because it helps you, some of those errors, when if you're into report writing or research and all of that, how you can be reading sentences in your head that are not even typed out in whatever you're saying, right? Some of those errors where you miss the comma, you miss the full stop, Grammarly helps you sort that out. So if you're into report writing, you want to save your boss some of that stress. There is also there's AnyWord, which helps you with content creation, right? There's Jasper. This again are for marketers, designers, bloggers. Again, helps to speed up your content generation. Opus is an AI tool that helps you repurpose long videos. So you have a long video, for instance, this session that we've had is recorded. So based on certain areas that Femi has talked about, I can feed this in and it just breaks each of those into smaller chunks that I can use for either YouTube, TikTok, or my Instagram. Cohesive, again, just like Grammarly, is also on that powerful AI writing tool. Vondi is like the end of discussion for AI solutions. It just bundles tons of stuff, from comedy to fitness, all sorts. So you want to check out Vondi as well. TribeScaler helps you with your content creation, creates that hook, like if you're doing search engine optimization, for instance, something that comes out as catchy, to get your audience to check out your content. Hyperfury, for those of us who are bloggers or big on social media, X, for instance, is now being monetized. This again helps you grow and monetize your content, right? You have Beehive for newsletter. You have Canva. Canva is not originally an AI tool, right? But it has some AI components. Think of it, your graphic designers, where you'll be designing flyers and all of that. Femi talked about the fact that some jobs may be taken. While we shouldn't be worried, this just makes it easier for everybody to be a designer. However, if core designing is your work, this also gives you speed. It brings about speed in the job that you do. You have Codium, which is for some of us who write codes. You want to be able to test out your code. This helps you do code analysis and stuff. So again, these tools we will share on the LinkedIn page, and if you're on the WhatsApp group, you will have that information. Let me end this session by saying that, just like Femi said, the fear among professionals that AI will take away some jobs is accurate, right? It shouldn't be ignored. However, it's also going to create new jobs and enormous opportunities. So let's not even be fixated on the fact that it's going to take away jobs. So the solution here for professionals that we are shouldn't be to fear or resist AI, right? But rather to embrace it with commitment to learning, unlearning, relearning. Just imagine the mileage you could get on a task. I'm a strong proponent. My philosophy when it comes to work is I underpromise and I overdeliver, right? And AI fits into that philosophy, right? So when my boss tells me I need this delivered in 5 days, I will die to see that job comes out in 3 days, right? And so if you check it, you see that I have over-delivered on that task, and AI helps me to deliver on that. So I'll say that in the short term, yes, there's most likely going to be a separation from the workforce of those who use AI to drive productivity and efficiency, and those who have failed to develop AI-related competency, right? Or those who have refused to use AI. So let's embrace it. Let's embrace it. And so if there are no other questions, I think this will be a good place to end today's session, right? If you can see my slide so like I said, the slides will be shared on the group link on WhatsApp. It will be also be shared on LinkedIn. The videos for this session will be uploaded on the YouTube channel. And so if we are a tech-related community, and the idea behind having this tech community is just to support each other, grow our careers, right? So you have a job you're doing, you come there, you drop it, you're likely going to have one or two people who will have insight into what you're doing, and they will provide you the needed support. We also share job opportunities. Again, we are just basically supporting each other grow our career. So if it's something you'll be interested in joining, please feel free to click any of these links, and especially the WhatsApp link, and you'll be in. Thank you very much, Femi. I think it's already 11 o'clock. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so I have, wow, okay. There's a question from Solomon, Femi.
All the questions have been answered. Then the one on all the questions have been answered, but thanks to Femi, he has his AI fingers to answer on the people asking, and on the videos, and you've also addressed that for YouTube. For privacy concerns too, we'll be doing some back-end review before we share anything. So that's addressed. The only question we have here is on risk. Are there any? Femi has answered that, so fantastic. So I think we need to just wrap up. Thank you.
Right. So thank you everyone for joining, and let's enjoy the rest of our weekend. Femi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tony, and thank you very much, everybody, for listening.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.